Since my last video, I finally hit level 50 and was looking forward to playing the Heavensward expansion. This is where I had heard the game gets much better and was excited to start that expansion. Once reaching 50, I realised I still had to complete all of the Realm Reborn content before I could move on, which was a bit frustrating but made sense so that I could understand the story. And this is where I made a bit of a mistake by purchasing the Realm Reborn story skip and boosted my Dragoon to 60 so that I could jump straight into the next expansion. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this, as I realised being level 60 was too high for Heavensward content and I felt like I was wasting the XP I would get from the quest rewards. What I did instead was level the warrior/marauder job to 50 via the duty finder and the daily duty roulettes and continued the Heavensward content on that job instead. I also looked up the story of Realm Reborn online before continuing, just so that I knew what was going on. So, getting to level 50, it didn't take too long overall using the duty finder and the daily leveling roulette. The daily roulette would gain you almost 2 levels at the early stages and just over 1 level after level 30. As I was leveling up my warrior, I also got to experience tanking in dungeons and was pleasantly surprised. Nothing seemed too difficult, but it was important to keep an eye on your HP and use defensive cooldowns when appropriate. I know a lot of people, including myself, can sometimes get a bit panicky when tanking, but the groups I played with were always very helpful and there was no toxic behaviour towards me, being new to tanking and new to dungeons, so that was quite nice. I had a lot of fun seeing the different dungeons on offer and all of them felt very unique. Each dungeon had its own unique atmosphere and environment, and the monsters were all different and suited to each environment they were in, as well as the different objectives for each dungeon involved to progress. Every 5 levels would open up a new job quest that would unlock a new ability or skill, and usually some item level appropriate loot too. This provided a nice little break from dungeons to explore some more of the open world that Final Fantasy XIV has to offer. After completing these, it also felt like my character was growing and getting more powerful, which is a nice sense of progression as you level up. At level 30, I unlocked the warrior job, which adds another layer to the marauder. I was given a gauge that can be filled up using certain abilities, and the more you filled it up, the more tanky I became. I could then spend that power from the gauge on more powerful abilities. I also tried out the Palace of the Dead, as I heard that was another way to get good XP. In my experience though, if you're a tank or healer, it's probably a bit slower than just queuing for dungeons, but it does provide a nice change in gameplay if you are getting a bit burnt out from doing dungeons all the time. The Palace of the Dead is a mini dungeon that has a randomised layout, and completing each level allows you to progress to the next. When inside, you start from level 1 and level up independently to your job outside of the palace. After completing 10 levels, you're rewarded with a large chunk of XP for your job outside of the dungeon, so in the main game, and progress is also saved every 10 levels, where you can either continue on and do another 10 or so on, or leave and save your progress at that point. At higher levels, so probably once you're max level, you can start to do the much higher level content, and that can earn you cosmetic rewards for your characters that, from looking online, they do look quite cool. So, I mean, overall getting to 50, it was a fairly straightforward process and one that was quite enjoyable. In my next video, I'll be going through the actual Heavensward content and we'll let you know my thoughts on that. As my previous video mentioned, I still feel that I'm in the very early stages of my Final Fantasy XIV experience, but I am thoroughly enjoying it, and if the hype around Heavensward is true, much more to enjoy. I'm hoping to be able to get through all of the current expansions before the new one, Shadowbringers, comes out, and I will keep you all updated on my journey. So if you like this video, just let me know, leave a comment, like, and